It's 2 o'clock. I'm Olive Martini. And if you're just joining us and haven't been with us for a while, on the second Wednesday of every month, we do the Wellness Radio Forum. It's presented by the Dungeness Valley Health and Wellness Clinic. And my guest today is Barb Paschal. She's a retired physical therapist, and she's here to show us some fun and effective ways to help you with your physical and mental health. Welcome, Barb.
Thank you, Olive.
A little bit louder.
Okay, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in to the Zoom presentation on the Free Clinic's website. And this is a lady that never gets any acclaim, but this lady over here is Penny Robinson, who makes the whole thing happen and puts flyers up all over town and organizes amazingly.
That's right. It couldn't happen without Miss Penny.
No.
So tell us, Barb, what are the big 4 categories that we usually try to make changes in?
Okay, so we're kind of talking, we just passed the new year, and some people make New Year's resolutions, and some people vow to never make a New Year's resolution. So everybody has different ideas about that, but internally, I think all of us think throughout the year, be it New Year's or your birthday or the first Monday of the month, or whenever you think about maybe making a change, there are what I think are 4 big categories that people usually tell me that they think about changes for. And so the first one is how we spend our time. So maybe starting on the new year, you decided to take more classes in town on French or ukulele or Tai Chi or something like that, or to volunteer more, or to spend more time gardening and that sort of thing. Anyway, so how we spend our time. Secondly is how to improve our emotional health and get more peacefulness and more happiness. And I think that everybody thinks about those things, and we'll talk about that more later, how to do that. And the third thing is usually how to be able to move more easily and safely without falling. And so, of course, that one's really interesting to me all the time, but I think all of them matter. And the next one is what we consume. So people usually try to increase the amount of water and decrease maybe the amount of food or the amount of food that isn't nutritionally beneficial to them. And so those are usually the categories that people think about changing. And I'm hoping to encourage you to think about changing, that changing is important and wonderful, and not just for some people, it's threatening and fearful and tiresome and that sort of thing. I think it's wonderful. It's an opportunity.
So why do you think change is good?
Change to me is like spring. I mean, who doesn't like spring? Change is something new, something improvable, and it's something that we all can do, and that I hope to encourage you today to do that, to think about changing.
And what's the best key to making changes that last?
Well, probably the most important is that it is logical and that you believe. You have to believe that you have potential, possibility, and resilience, and have hope that you can make some kind of change in your life. And to me, that's exciting. It's like spring. It's a budding of a bush and a tree and a songbird singing. We are full of potential, much more than we think, and particularly when we get older, like me, we worry that there is no more potential, no more time, but it's never too late. And you all have much more potential and possibility than you might think, and we have tremendous resilience in our brains and in our bodies and in our emotions.
So you wanted to talk about one of the ideas that you came with today, and what is that? Encouragement.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Olive and I were talking earlier. Yes, so I think the most important thing we can do for ourselves and for one another is to encourage each other, to encourage to not go along with the joke. like a lot of people say, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I have one of those donuts. And if I'm really your friend, I would say it does. It does matter. Please don't do that. We're going to change. Remember, you and I are going to change. So let's change to no donuts for at least a month and maybe longer. And so I believe in encouraging people to be more who they can be rather than just same old, oh, sure, yeah, ha, ha, ha. It's not funny. It's serious stuff. And it's wonderful stuff.
So why does education about the body and brain help changes that last?
Well, I have found that a lot of people don't realize how much potential our bodies have and how things happen inside. So just a quick physiology lesson is that our adrenal glands, when we are worried or anxious or sad, grieving, whatever, or in pain, our adrenal glands get really busy and send out a substance in our body called cortisol, which is not cortisone, okay? This is cortisol, and it just makes us more upset. It just drives the fight or flight part of us. And then when we do other things that we'll talk about, like laughter and exercise and deep breathing, our brain and what they now call our gut. When I grew up, anyway, that was what was in tennis rackets, gut. But anyway, so our gut and our brains emit serotonin and endorphins, which actually shut off the cortisol, stop the adrenal glands, and bring forth substances in our body that make us feel calm, and peaceful and happy and capable. And we are capable of doing that. Just by deep breathing, you will shut off the cortisol and bring on the serotonin and the endorphins. And doing aerobic exercise, which just means peppy exercise. People get thrown by the word aerobic, and it really means uptake of oxygen. It's a Greek word, aerobic, if you think of it. So it's just using more oxygen and blood flow than you did the moments before. And all of that is an automatic, measurable way to calm yourself down and feel better and feel more capable of change.
Off the air, you talked to us about how pain is affected by cortisol. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Our cortisol actually increases or enhances our actual awareness and mental awareness and sensory awareness to pain. Therefore, sometimes we actually feel more pain than is actually emitted in the first place. It builds on itself. And they found that, and so a lot of people think the only way to get rid of pain is perhaps a surgery or a pill. And I can tell you that by doing simple things that shut off the cortisol, shut off that sense of the pain, or at least tamp it down. I'm not saying that the pain in your hip or your knee or your back isn't there. I'm saying your awareness of it is diminished and tamped down to the place where you can actually move better and therefore actually decrease some of the cause, perhaps, of the pain. It's a circle. So I always bring this ball because it kind of shows, how the stitching goes around and around and never stops. So our brain is absolutely connected to our body. But what is our brain? Our brain is not just thinking, but feeling and being happy or being calm or being upset or feeling pain. And our bodies help us help our brains, and our brains help our bodies. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to ask you to let our listeners know some of the things that they can do if they are in pain and feel like they can't move because of it.
Okay. And the first thing that you can do for pain is to sit less. Just absolutely. And this is not stuff I make up, okay? This is researchable, provable through many tests on thousands and thousands of people. We are not meant to sit the amount of time at one period of time that people usually do, nor the number of times or sessions throughout the day that we sit. We're not meant to be a sitting being. We're meant to be a moving being, okay? And so sitting is probably one of the first enhancers of pain.
Okay.
Literally. And it's partly because when we get up and move around, and Olive told me to tell her to get up and move around, so she will when she wants to. But the simple flowing of blood and oxygen within the blood throughout the entire circulatory system, including our brain, of course, needs blood flow and oxygen in that blood for replenishment, for rejuvenation, for change. And so one of the quickest ways to decrease pain is to move. And if you can, get up out of a chair. The best you can do, be it on a walker, a cane, crutches, leaning a little bit perhaps, or touching, not leaning, but touching on a chair nearby. The point is just standing up and not sitting. We are only meant, even an 18-year-old is not meant to sit longer than 30 minutes at a time, and not more than 30 minutes throughout the day. It begins to diminish the integrity of the discs that go in between each vertebrae. And so it just can actually damage your body to sit. And so you want to do everything that is not sitting as much as possible. And then when you get up, if you can possibly get up and stay and move every limb, every direction for 5 minutes, they found that 5 minutes is doable for a lot of people who don't want to get up and they're right in the middle of a good book or a good movie or a talk or whatever. And I always talk about encouragement. Encourage the people you're talking to get up. You know, your family, your friends, and everybody goes, oh, but they're so comfy and all that. So get them up. Who's a real friend to your family or your friends? You are if you say, let's get up. Let's not sit. Okay, let's move. And you want to move every limb, every direction that you can, because we do. Because our limbs move directions. So not just walking over to the coffee pot. Okay, that's not much movement, and it won't diminish pain much. So if you want to make it effective, move as much as you can, even in a small space. You don't need a big apartment or anything like that. You just need a small space to move every direction, fully, all 4 limbs at a time, if possible, even within a walker, 2 limbs, and maybe 1 limb now and again. Do everything you possibly can to move in every direction, every joint.
And so we're not talking about deep knee bends. We're not talking about push-ups. We're just talking about gentle movement.
Dance. I call it dance.
Okay.
Aerobic dance. So it's, there's smooth movements, not jerky, not jumping. That's high impact movement. I can't do that anymore. I used to run many miles a day, but can't do that anymore because of my joints. And so it's really much better for us to be smooth moving. But it's important that you move every direction, because just moving like this to the coffee pot isn't enough.
So Barb, tell us, what's the most common complaint about seniors that you hear from family and friends?
Well, I think we've all sort of experienced this on one side or the other. And of course it can happen when you're younger, but I think the most common thing when we're a little bit older, like I am getting, is that it's really hard to change. So we're talking about change today and making it last. And so as we get older, we feel like we want to stick with the old way because it seems comfy, because it seems like, well, it kind of worked. But inside we know it might not have worked as well as we wish. And so, but most younger people think that seniors are stuck in the mud, stuck in a rut. Repeat, same old stuff. They don't mind hearing some of the same old stories. they're kind of fun, but it's sticking with the same thing, not being willing to be flexible. And don't we all want to be flexible and open and inspiring, able to encourage somebody to change. And but we need to change inside, like I was saying earlier, rather than going along with a friend in the same old way that we tend to. If they want a donut and that they're trying to lose weight and drop their A1C and drop their blood pressure and all those important things, instead of the same old thing of, oh, sure, go ahead, I'm going to say, no, remember your new ideas, your new resolutions, and I'm going to help you, and we're going to go for a walk. And I always say, a lot of people ask me, want to go out to lunch with me or go for coffee? And I go, no, I never do that. But if you ask me to go for a walk with you, I'm up. I'm up for it. So the point really is that what is change? And what is it within us that makes us fearful or resistant to change? And what makes us motivated to change? And I hope that today inside you're thinking about that. And when you turn off the show, that you think about it for days and months to come. And it's wonderful to change, and it's important and possible. So we were talking about the body and physiology and education. Education is really, really important because people need to know that their bodies can change, that their brains can change. And the classes that I've taught, people are just amazed. And I try to read everything I can about all of that. And, they found that even our brain synapses increase even at an older age, the connections, and it's called a dense brain, and not dense, like, it means that there are more synapses connecting all those convolutions of our brain. Therefore, we have more thinking capacity, more planning capacity, more remembering capacity, and we can build that.
So how do you want to be thought of? We've got all of these things that you've given me here, and
as an
talk
encourager,
a little bit about.
As an encourager, to help people. And I've asked people in my class, and they said, yeah, they had no idea. And so I just am very fortunate that was kind of, when I came out of school, we treated we didn't specialize. We treated every single person who came in the door or in the hospital or that we went to their home and home health with whatever problem they had, and to try to help their life be as full of potential as possible, no matter what was diagnosed. And that really stimulated my brain and my spirit to go on with that. And I think that I feel very fortunate that was sort of what I ended up doing as a profession, but that's who I've ended up being as a person. And I think we all can be like that. And so I hope that you do that you educate yourself to look up things about the brain and about, or just take classes and do new things and create. One thing that can really help you with chronic pain and with improving anything that you want to improve on is to realize that you want to laugh more, you want to sing out loud, you want to draw, and don't let yourself tell yourself that you can't draw, you can't sing. A lot of people tell me that, and I've given lots of classes in the community, and people always say those two things. No, I can't draw and I can't sing. If you're speaking, you can sing. And so singing out loud, they have found, improves our, increases the serotonin and shuts off the cortisol, and more than just listening to music. Listening to music is wonderful, but singing out loud is even better. It actually improves. And then when you take a deep breath and blow it out and take another deep breath, you calm yourself, you again shut off the cortisol. So I want you to realize that these educational tips are really key for you to move on with your life to whatever you want to do in your life. And so I always say for drawing, if I can, you can. So I brought a few of my sketches, and they're just funny little mule and bear and dog and pig sketches. And I'll tell you, after I get done doing that and then filling it in with a little colored pencil or paint, I feel wonderful, and I don't notice the pain in my knee, or I don't notice the pain in my back. We
talk about how you get a picture off of the internet and you put it upside down. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. They have found, there's a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and some people have read that, and this lady actually in Tacoma, a professor, had people in class, and it turns out that when we are not accomplished artists of some kind, we tend to be really hard on ourselves and remember what our perhaps high school teacher for me told me, that I couldn't draw, that I had no creativity. And so when I look at a photo or a sketch or a painting, I think that I'm incapable. And that's the left side of my brain. The right side of my brain says, well, maybe. What opportunity, what potential do I have? And what she found is when you turn the image, the picture, the photo, something you get off the internet, like Olive said, and just put it upside down, you are more capable of drawing the outside of the image, because no one is telling you that you're not able. You just do it. Like, oh, I can do that. And then you turn it right side up. And I have given this class all over town, and everyone says, look what I did. And it's so much fun to realize. Another thing is to have, cameos, how they have in TV or sometime, well, anyway, on news, they'll have somebody up in the corner, a cameo of maybe, Bing Crosby saying something, or Ben Franklin saying something, whatever. And so I want you to build up a whole lot of cameos of laughter in your life. It could be how your little dog used to run across the lawn and catch something, or it could be your little child, what they did that was funny that made you laugh. And you don't have to laugh out loud, because if you're in the middle of church or somewhere else where it's not appropriate for you to be laughing, very loudly, you can laugh in your heart. And they found when we do that, when we create laughter moments, like this children's book, Sandra Boynton is one of the best children's authors, and this makes me laugh every time I see the dinosaur's Binket, and his blanket gets lost, and then they find the Binket. But basically, I just laugh looking at her pictures, and I was driving today very tensely amidst some traffic, and I just kept thinking about the Binket, and I could feel myself relax on the steering wheel. And so laughter in our hearts, laughter out loud, immediately changes this adrenaline, cortisol, serotonin brain balance and throws out the cortisol. And you can do that too. If I can, you can.
What about coloring?
Yeah.
Like in a coloring book,
sure,
instead of drawing?
Yeah, sure. And
anything that kind of relaxes you?
Yes, and the biggest thing that relaxes is the color. Really just lights up your mind, and remembering the flowers that you're coloring or the trees that you've seen in real life. Yes, any of that is really important. You don't have to be a Monet or a Grandma Moses, although I'm looking like one. You just need to do these things to help yourself. And it might be creating not something drawing, but thinking of the garden that you're going to have this summer and how you're creating that. And the minute you sit down and maybe write down details about that and create it in your mind, or a new recipe you're thinking of doing, or a sweater you're thinking of knitting, the minute you do that, you begin to calm down. Your blood pressure will drop. Your body will relax and your brain will think better when you're relaxed. I think we all know that when tumult is occurring and chaos is occurring, we can hardly think. And then when things calm down, and so you need to make your calm often.
Why does making effective aerobic exercise changes daily help our minds, bodies, and the approach to life?
Okay, well, good question.
Come forward just a little
bit. We're having too much fun here. Okay, so aerobic exercise, like I mentioned earlier, is really what you might call peppy exercise, but not pounding exercise. Really important to not have
Move with vigor.
Move with vigor. Vigor. Yeah, as if you're from Boston, vigor. And so the idea is that a lot of people think that aerobic exercise is jumping jacks and running and that sort of thing, and they think it's not for them. But that's not true. All of us are capable, and it's just moving with vigor, just a bit more vigorously than you did a moment ago, and particularly if you can for 20 to 30 minutes in a row. And this was actually discovered by Dr. Kenneth Cooper in the 1960s. He was a cardiologist, and it kind of got the fitness craze going after Jack LaLanne kind of actually maybe started it. But the point is that aerobic exercise is nothing to be scared of. It is absolutely fun and essential. So if you do it for 20 to 30 minutes in a row, you will actually build heart tissue and lung tissue. Okay, or the blood vessels in the lungs, I should say.
Is that once a day, or is that more than once a day? Tell me.
You could do it many times a day.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. But every day is the key. Every day.
30 minutes without stopping.
Correct. 20 to 30.
Okay.
And if you're just beginning and it's too much, you may be trying to go too fast, or you may be trying to go too long at first, and so do maybe 5 minutes, 4 times a day. I've worked in cardiac wards of hospitals, and that's what we did. After people had heart attacks, etc., we began 5 minutes, 4 different times a day, and pretty soon we were up to 7 minutes, approximately 3 times a day, and up to 10 minutes, and then gathering the time until you can do it nonstop. And why is nonstop important? Because that is how those tissues build. Okay, and that's not something I made up. That's how heart tissue builds. Your heart is a muscle, and then there are small muscles within your lungs that help the blood vessels in your lungs to work. And let me just say a thought here today is the American Lung Association wants us to take the stair day. This is the American Lung Association is encouraging, as always, every year, this time of year, on this day, for people to exercise more. You may not be able to do stairs, but the idea is to exercise more. And so it isn't just stretching, and it isn't just lifting weights. Neither one of those is usually aerobic. So aerobic exercise is peppier than a few minutes ago, and 20 to 30 minutes nonstop, because not only is that how those tissues get built, but also that's what we want in life. You don't want to be going to the Butchart Gardens and only be able to walk 5 minutes. You want to do the whole the whole schmear, excuse me. And you want to be able to walk through Costco without leaning on your cart and that kind of thing. So we need to build endurance. So endurance is strength through time. And the time they've found, and it's actually minimal, 20 minutes to 30 minutes. If you do 45 or 60, you will actually feel better. I feel better when I'm able to do that. And so, and like Olive asked, you can do it several times a day. It really is up to you and how you build your body. And it is the best way to help your brain as well, because the blood flow and the oxygen within the blood flow to your brain is immense with aerobic exercise, which is replenishing it, healing it, and building it. And when we think better and feel better, our whole spirit, our whole self, our whole spark, our whole inner self feels alive, and that things are possible. And that's what life is, isn't it? And that's what we want to encourage one another. And so if you walk your dog, and I love dogs, but if you walk your dog and they stop every couple feet in the neighborhood, but you did, 20 minutes, put your dog inside, and now you go outside for your aerobic exercise, or better yet, even in your house. The problem with just walking on the sidewalk by your house or wherever you might be, even the Railroad Bridge Park, as beautiful as it is, just walking is usually pretty straightforward, a little bent over sometimes, or turned towards who you're walking with. It isn't enough. And so at home, you can really stretch out, move all those limbs every direction, forward and backward, which is really important for balance training, sideways, and also building muscle. And your sense of yourself in your house is much better rather than just walking. And here's another thing, when it is sort of warmer this year than usual, but no pockets. Mittens, gloves, everybody can get them out. I'm sure you have them. If not, you can buy them at a store. When you put your hands in your pockets, where's my pocket, and walk, what do? You slump, and your shoulders go forward. And the minute you take away good posture, so good posture or core alignment is essential to your health. Why? Because every joint is dependent on us to be in good posture and core alignment. When you're out of core alignment, then more weight, like if I'm bent over, now nearly twice the amount of weight that my upper body weighs is now almost all on my knees. That's the mechanics of it, okay? And our knees are not built to be leaned on forward. Our knees are meant to be walked upon in core alignment. And people say, well, how can I get good posture? I never had good posture as a kid. Just a second. And
she's getting something out of her bag.
Sorry, I meant to bring this.
And quickly,
Yes.
in about a day or two, you can get on the Swim Free Clinic website at swimfreeclinic.org, and you can see Barb's movement because it'll be on the website. And when you get on the website, just look for the third box there and click on Wellness, and you'll be able to see Barb's movement here. So if you're listening, make sure you log into swimfreeclinic.org, and you can see past interviews as well.
Speakers. Yeah.
Okay, Barb, take it away.
So I think anybody who's been to a physical therapy has gotten something that looks like this.
A little closer.
And
there you go.
And inevitably people call it that stretchy thing. But it's not stretchy, it's for resistance. And it really helps you get good posture because it reminds your brain where it is, where core alignment is. So if in fact I put my hands down here on my legs and pull back, I have to stand up straighter. I have to be in better core alignment. It's just an automatic, okay? And if you make it a little bit shorter and put your elbows in at your sides and do this sort of thing, again, and you could be sitting and do this. So, I won't sit, but pretend I'm sitting, and I stretch, I pull against the shorter TheraBand and pull. Automatically, my back muscles, my abs, everything clicks into alignment. And if you don't have the rubberized thing, or it hurts your hands, like it has begun to hurt mine at my age, I do this for my classes. I cut fleece blankets up that I buy at Walmart and make fleece rings, which is the same thing, but it's softer on your skin. And you do the same thing. The idea is that you are facilitating your brain to feel what alignment is, because a lot of people have kind of forgotten and they kind of tend to slump. And even if you're in a walker or with a cane or in a wheelchair, whatever, you want to, if you're in a wheelchair, you want to make sure that you have a lumbar pillow behind your back so that you're encouraged to sit up in core alignment. So you don't have to be standing if that's not possible anymore. You need to work on that sitting, and if you can, go to the front of any chair that you're sitting in, because if you're kind of a little bit more in front and your feet are on the ground, if that's possible, then you can really work more muscles and core alignment. And I have another thought that I give people that they seem to like, is that women in Africa have to carry water for the entire family, often across desert. And they balance water on top of their head and never spill it. So if you think about you carrying a bowl of water on your head for your family and never spill it, it's really hard to slump. It encourages you to think about what is posture, what is core alignment. That's very confusing to people. What is your core? Your core is every muscle in your spine that connects to your spine, and your abs. And so posture is really just aligning your head over your neck, over your shoulders, over your hips, over your ankles. And they used to have something called a plumb bob when I first came out of school, and they could drop it down and see if we were one way or the other. But more importantly, we think of posture as standing still. Posture, core alignment should not be static. It should be dynamic. I should be in good posture whether I'm reaching to a shelf in Costco, or if I'm vacuuming, or if I'm washing the windows. I need to be in good posture, because without it, I'm hurting my joints by bending forward or twisting, that kind of thing. And so that's why it's really essential.
So what are some of the ways to make changes that bring you lasting ability to keep stress from controlling your life?
Okay. So, well, we talked earlier about laughter moments. Build up many laughter moments in your mind so that you can call them up even when you're driving in traffic, so that you can still concentrate on traffic. And yet for a moment, I thought of this fun child's book that makes me laugh every time I think about the dinosaur losing his blanket. It just makes me laugh. And so and I also think of Lucy and Ethel on that conveyor belt where they were having to eat all the chocolates because they couldn't pack the boxes fast enough. I really feel sorry for people that are too young to not know about Lucy and Ethel, because aren't they wonderful? But anyway, so laughter absolutely helps you to control what you feel is stress, whatever that is, be it grief or anxiety or despair or pain. We all feel all of those things. Don't feel alone. The point really is that each one of us has been given wonderful ways to diminish their importance. The important thing is to create things, to draw, to sing out loud, to think about a new garden that you're going to make, to decrease sitting, okay? And so sitting makes us feel immobile and maybe unable and alone. What makes you feel more alive and more capable? Get up and do something. Get up and move. And so one of the very first things you can do for stress is exercise, aerobic exercise. And I don't just say that as a retired physical therapist, I say that as a person, that we are meant to have blood flow and oxygen, and that absolutely rejuvenates our spirit and our body. And and we were talking about singing out loud. Singing out loud necessitates us to breathe deeply, as well as the actual singing mechanism in our throats, our larynx. But deep breathing the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen can be measured by blood pressure dropping, by our body, our cortisol being shut off. These things are measurable. Isn't that fun? I mean, it is how we are created, how we are born to be, and we just need to know about that. And I found a lot of people don't know about these concepts of physiology, basically, because they also think that only doctors can understand it. Well, if I understand it, you can understand it. It's really just, how we are meant to keep ourselves healthier. And you know what? Everything that you do to diminish the stress, the things that are stressing you and that you feel controlling you, and you turn that around and control them, you immediately improve your immune system. And we're all worried about, the flus and things like that go around. What is one of the best ways to help your immune system? To exercise, to laugh out loud, to sing out loud, to laugh in your heart, to read a good book. The minute I feel tense about something and I pick up a book, I'm lost. I'm somewhere else. I'm where the author takes me. And also do something for someone else, and that kindness and that thoughtfulness immediately cuts off the cortisol, helps your spirit. So if you ever send birthday cards out, never ever just sign your name or say happy birthday. Always write something really specifically wonderful about the person you're sending it to, so that their life is encouraged. Their inner self feels like they are special, because they must be, or you wouldn't send them a birthday card. So it's these are small things, and people say, oh, I don't journal and that kind of thing. Why is journaling important? Because sometimes when we want to talk with somebody, there is no one to talk to. There is, or you might be too embarrassed to talk about it with somebody, but you can write it, and you can write it out, and it's very cathartic. It's very important to write, and they found that more than typing, so not a keyboard, I'm talking about real pen and pencil in your hand, writing on a piece of paper or a nice little journal booklet, whatever, but do journal and write down your feelings, write down how, and the minute I get it out on paper, it doesn't quite seem so bad. And so we have a lot of ability to diminish what we feel is so much stress, and we need to do something about it, and it's fun to do it. And the quickest way are all these ways.
And Barb, what would you leave with our audience? One last thought about movement and how to feel better.
Mainly to encourage yourself and other people. You have great potential in your body and your brain, no matter what diagnosis you've been given, and that one of the quickest ways to improve every part of you is to move more, and move every day as much as you can for as long as you can, particularly 20 to 30 minutes nonstop. But just keep moving, and never, ever sit longer than 30 minutes at a time.
Okay. Barb, thank you so much for coming in. It's been wonderful talking with you, and I've learned something. Get up and move. Yes?
Yay!
The SQM Free Clinic is open for patients at 4:30 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. No appointment is necessary. Chronic health care service is available by appointment several times a month. The clinic is located at 777 North 5th Avenue in the SQM Medical Plaza, and more information is available at sqmfreeclinic.org or by calling 360-582-0218. Barb, thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
it's fun.
You're very welcome. And we can leave one thing with you. Be kind and get up and move.
Yay.